a Jeep driving over some dirt.
All right, so here's the story.
Tell us about this one.
Part of the bill that the House and the Senate are reconciling, part of the big, beautiful bill, is that they're mandating, as part of that bill, which has not yet passed, has not been finalized, has not yet been signed by the president. Want to make that really clear. They're mandating that the Bureau of Land Management, the BLM, and the U.S. Forest Service sell more than 2 million acres of public land over the next 5 years and are allowed to sell up to 258 million acres of land. This is primarily, almost entirely, land to the in like the far western state, in the Southwest and up the West Coast. Here's the connection to cars. This is fundamentally a political story, but there is a deep connection to cars, which is a lot of car enthusiasts use BLM land, especially if you're from the West. If you're from the East Coast, you might not recognize how much public land there is kind of west of New Mexico. But a lot of enthusiasts out here use that land to go off-roading, to go camping, to go exploring, to take long road trips. Matt Fair of the Smoking Tire famously has done a bunch of those. And that land might become private. And once it's private, certainly by most accounts will not be available to enthusiasts to drive on, will not be available for off-roading, will not be available for hiking, et cetera. Something that a lot of people with their Wranglers, with the Subaru EVs that we're gonna be talking about, are out there doing. Which could be really sad. If you're into off-roading, this might legitimately impact your ability to use public land for that purpose.
Yeah, I agree. Public land is the greatest gift that the Western United States, the only benefit that the Western United States has over the Eastern United States, aside from lack of humidity. And and I grew up around tons of public land, and I was astonished when I learned that some of these other places don't have it. People in the East don't understand. You could just, and this is something I was told. The Republicans are mainly pushing this through. This is something a lot of conservative friends of mine are actually the ones who are users of this land. They like to go out and shoot their guns and drive their truck. And I'm, 2 million acres is nothing in the grand scheme, but if hundreds of millions of acres are potentially sold, that could be sad. We do it. We take our cars. I mean, I've taken the G-Wagon and the other cars just off. In California, you get far enough out, you can just kind of turn off the road and just go. And there's no one around to stop you. And there's nothing, no rules really. You just do what you want. And so that's an interesting situation.
It's an incredible resource that might very well be sold as part of this legislation. Some of it will have to be sold.
Would you buy some of this land, Filippo?
I don't know that I really have a purpose for any of it. No. The theory, by the way, and what Republicans in Congress are advocating for is this could make money, right? You sell the land, sell it for money. There could also be housing built on some of this land. Of course, most of the land is quite far from any place people want to live. If you actually look at where this land is located, very small percentages near a city. So it's questionable, kind of from outside reports, how much would actually be able to be sold for real amounts of revenue for the federal government. But it would mean certainly the loss of a lot of off-roading, camping, nature land.
Nature, the bears, The
bears.
Can I know about the bears?
The Bears. Well,
he's from Chicago. He knows.
I'm not from Chicago. I'm from Cleveland. Give me a break. Unbelievable.
Hey, remember, if it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. And if it's white, you're dead.
You're dead.
Give us the next news story.
Speaking of Subaru EVs, I knew you would get there.
I've never heard of that because he's never seen a bear. He doesn't know what
He doesn't know what a bear
are.
is. Yeah, that's right.
Fun fact, when I first moved to the U.S., we moved to Western Massachusetts. There were brown bears at our door most mornings.
Did you? No, you mean black
really?
bears.
You mean black bears?
Black bears.
Black bears, yes.
Black bears are very social.
Yeah,
He doesn't even-
yeah.
can't even remember.
The other kind. I was a kid.
You really know nothing about animals.
I know nothing about animals.